And in that scene, we get
Sally.
that he's very familiar with the underworld. He knows who Teddy Limbo is. Sally goes into detail. Talk a little bit about using some of these characters. You said that Sally was based on a real character, not a famous character, though, right?
He was a real person. He was the guy who got me a job delivering newspapers for the Ridgewood Times, which is a local neighborhood newspaper in New York, and that led me into what I call the company, which was this mob front. He's
Mm.
mentioned also in the company stories, which is my memoir of 12 or 13 memoirs that I did of that time in my life. And he was based on a real character. He was this white-haired guy. He also got me out of the company when I wanted to get out, and then I started working for the Finest, or as it would be called in this universe, Fi-Fest supermarket. That's when I left that life behind, so to speak. But Sally here and his Goomba Deuce end up singing the Golden Earring song, Candy's Going Bad. And this is why I named the character Candy, to use that song. So we get a really nice concision of Candy's backstory here. Candy running away. We hear that Candy and Candy's folks have come to find her, sort of like Taxi Driver, where we hear we at the end we get the letter to Travis Bickle from the mother and father. This mother and father are a bit more active. We get that Candy has stolen something. Danny had hooked her up with a guy named Teddy. Uh, in the song, it's just Teddy, a pimp named Ted. Uh, but I gave him a mafia named Teddy Limbo. His real name, I guess, is Teddy Popper. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that Teddy Popper, Teddy Limbo character in The Grand and Glorious, I think, and retell the story of his demise, because he ends up dead too in that book. But I think, one of those things where you were talking about really using a song that sums up the character and her backstory really well.
It ends very well too, with Danny sitting comforting Candy, and then Sally addressing the audience as if to Danny. Well, yeah. Danny is comforting her on the other side of the stage.
Yeah, and that's just a very Bergman-like moment, to have Sally talking to the audience as if they are the character, because it's sort of like if Sally's looking out into the audience, he's really, in a sense, you get that parallax of the audience somehow. He is forcing the audience to think that they are more involved in the play.
It reminded me a little more of Ozu than it did Bergman, with how he composes the shots in certain ways.
Yeah, to a certain degree, but to have the character directly address the screen, that's definitely Bergman. Ozu wouldn't have that. This is a persona kind of moment.